Ladies and gentlemen, gather round for the greatest unsolved mystery of the digital age. Forget Bigfoot, forget aliens. We're talking about a legend who created a $4 trillion industry and then vanished into thin air, leaving behind a treasure worth $135 billion that hasn't been touched in over 14 years. This is the story of Satoshi Nakamoto, Bitcoin's mysterious creator, and why the internet has spent the last decade and a half playing the world's most expensive game of Where's Waldo? Before we dive into this digital detective story, let me paint you a picture of just how absurd the situation has become. Imagine if the inventor of the internet just disappeared, left no forwarding address, no social media, no thanks for the Nobel Prize acceptance speech, nothing. That's essentially what happened with Bitcoin, except this mysterious person is potentially sitting on a fortune that will make them one of the richest humans on planet Earth. We're talking about 1.1 million Bitcoin worth nearly $135 billion at today's prices. And here's the kicker. None of it has ever moved. Let's start at the beginning. October 31st, 2008, Halloween night. Because of course it was Halloween when this digital ghost story began. Our mystery person, using the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto, publishes a 9-page document that would change the world forever. The Bitcoin White Paper. Not on some fancy academic journal, mind you, but on a cryptographic mailing list, like some kind of digital graffiti artist. For the next 2 years, Satoshi was surprisingly active. Forum posts, emails, code commits. This person was everywhere, answering questions, fixing bugs, basically being the world's most dedicated volunteer tech support for a currency that barely anyone understood. And then, April 23rd, 2011, last email, last forum post, last sign of life from the person who created digital gold. Now, here's where things get interesting, and by interesting, I mean absolutely bonkers. The internet, being the internet, immediately decided this was unacceptable. You can't just create the future of money and then ghost everyone like you're avoiding an ex at a high school reunion. So began the great hunt for Satoshi, featuring more conspiracy theories than a flat earth convention.
I just believe that we live on a flat plane.
Suspect number 1, Dorian Satoshi Nakamoto. In 2014, Newsweek, yes, the magazine that somehow still exists, published a bombshell article claiming they found him. A retired engineer in California whose birth name was actually Satoshi Nakamoto. The only problem? Well, poor Dorian had no idea what Bitcoin was and definitely didn't appreciate reporters camping outside his house. The man had to hire a lawyer and go into hiding. Imagine explaining to your neighbors that you're not the mysterious billionaire the internet thinks you are, but you can't prove it because you don't understand cryptocurrency. Suspect number 2, Hal Finney. Recent evidence suggests that Hal Finney, the first person to receive Bitcoin, may have attended the same conference as the mysterious creator, Crypto 98 in Santa Barbara. Finney was brilliant, lived near Dorian, suspicious, and tragically passed from ALS in 2014. But here's the thing, Hal was too nice. The guy literally spent his final years fighting a terminal illness while still contributing to crypto. If he was Satoshi, he definitely would have said something heartfelt before passing away, like, "P.S. I'm totally the Bitcoin guy, use the money for good." Suspect number 3, Nick Szabo.
Nick Szabo.
Brilliant cryptographer, invented something called BitGold before Bitcoin, and writes with the same academic tone as Satoshi. The evidence is compelling, except Nick has spent years denying it with enthusiasm of someone who really doesn't want to be associated with the 135 billion mystery.
But she caught me on the counter. Wasn't me.
Suspect number 4, Craig Wright. Oh boy. Craig Wright, this Australian computer scientist, has been claiming his Satoshi since 2016.
Hi.
Despite providing exactly zero credible evidence, in May 2024, a UK court officially ruled that documents he submitted were forgeries and that he had lied to the court extensively and repeatedly. He was even sentenced to a year in prison for his troubles. Craig Wright, claiming to be Satoshi, is like me claiming to be Batman.
I'm Batman.
Sure, you'll never see us in the same room together, but that's probably not the smoking gun I think it is. But here's where the newest theories get really wild. And by wild, I mean the internet has officially run out of reasonable suspects and is now grasping at pixels.
You're a good boy.
Enter the latest conspiracy theory that's been making rounds since March 2025. Someone on Reddit noticed that a 1991 Sierra game called Space Quest 4 featured an in-game currency called Buckazoids. And get this, the coin design has a B with 2 vertical strokes. Cue the Internet Detective Brigade.
Hello again, detective.
But wait, it gets better. The theory goes that 2 real game developers, Satoshi Uyesaka and Rod Nakamoto, somehow worked on this game, saw the future of decentralized currency, and decades later combined their names to become Satoshi Nakamoto. There's just one tiny problem with this theory. Neither Satoshi Uyesaka nor Rod Nakamoto actually worked on Space Quest 4. The game was made by Scott Murphy and Mark Crow at Sierra. And those Buckazoids? Well, they're just a regular single-player game currency, not some revolutionary decentralized money system. But here's what I love about this theory, and it shows just how desperate we've become to solve this mystery. We're literally looking at 90s video game coins and going, could this be the clue? The internet has turned into a collective Sherlock Holmes, except instead of solving murders, we're trying to figure out who made digital money, and our evidence is pixel art from a space comedy game. Here's the thing that keeps me up at night. Those 1.1 million Bitcoin have never moved, not once. No test transactions, no small withdrawals, no, hey, let me just buy a pizza to see if this works. I mean, we're talking about addresses more sacred than King Tut's tomb. In January 2024, someone even sent 1.2 million worth of Bitcoin to Satoshi's wallet address, like leaving flowers on a grave. The digital equivalent of thinking of you. This raises some uncomfortable questions. The most logical explanations are that Satoshi either died, lost access to the private keys, or is intentionally keeping the coins untouched. If it's the first option, if our mysterious creator has passed away, then we're looking at the largest digital inheritance in history that no one can claim. Those Bitcoin would be lost forever, unless someone has access to the private keys. If it's the second option, imagine being the person who created Bitcoin and then lost the password to your own treasure chest. That's the most expensive forgot my password in human history. But what if it's the third option? What if Satoshi is alive, watching, and has decided that touching those coins would somehow diminish Bitcoin itself? Like a digital Willy Wonka who knows that the chocolate factory runs better when the candy maker stays mysterious.
Would you like to see?
Some theorists even suggest that Satoshi might have a dead man switch, some kind of a mechanism to handle the coins if something happens to them. But honestly, that raises even more questions than it answers. Here's what we know for certain. Someone brilliant created something revolutionary, chose to remain anonymous in an age where everyone wants to be internet famous, and has shown the self-control to leave a $135 billion fortune untouched, while the rest of us lose our minds over a 5% drop. Recent lawsuits even suggest the US government might have known Satoshi's identity all along, which honestly wouldn't surprise me at this point. This mystery has more layers than a cryptocurrency-themed onion. So who is Satoshi Nakamoto? A single genius programmer, 2 game developers with a shared vision, a government black ops project that got out of hand, a time traveler who got stuck in 2008? The truth is, we may never know. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly how it was meant to be. Because here's the beautiful irony. Bitcoin was designed to work without trust, without central authority, without needing to know who's in charge. Satoshi created a system so perfect that it doesn't need its creator, and then proved it by disappearing. In a world where every tech billionaire has a Twitter account and a podcast, Satoshi Nakamoto might be the ultimate flex, creating the future and then refusing to take credit for it. What do you think? Is our mysterious creator still out there, watching Bitcoin hit new all-time highs from the shadows? Are they 2 Japanese game developers who are now running a small indie studio somewhere in Tokyo? Or is this the greatest magic trick in history, creating something from nothing and then vanishing completely? Drop your theories, guys, in the comments. And if you happen to be Satoshi watching this, buddy, we need to talk. Stay tuned for our next episode of Kripto Uncovered, where we'll dive into another mystery that's keeping the blockchain world awake at night. And if you're inspired to start your own crypto detective work, remember, trade smart, research thoroughly, and maybe don't create world-changing technology and then disappear. On Jucoin, you can explore the crypto markets that Satoshi helped create, trade responsibly, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next legend the internet spends decades trying to identify. Start your journey at Jucoin.com.